Hello everyone, Mark here, the end of a working week, and the weather outside is very sleety. One minute it's sunshine, then it's cold wind and rain, and it's just nice to be home with my beautiful wife, kids, and looking forward to the weekend. But when I got home today, I decided I'd want to share something on a YouTube video regarding the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, but from a very personal perspective with regards to our own family. We received a card, and I'd like to show it to you. I'm not going to go into the details of what's inside, that's personal with family, but I want to show you this. What does this remind you of? Thinking of you, the colour of it, what it looks like. This was a card sent to my youngest daughter, Charlotte, from her great-grandmother, Cora's grandmother. And I'd like to come back to this in a minute. This was given to us in the middle of the week, and it's been sat on the side on display when I get home from work, and it bothered me seeing it sat there. This week it's been if I'm reflecting on it a little bit, I think it's always healthy to do that, meditate on the things you've done throughout the week, the people you've met. And I've met some really interesting people, and this week it was more elderly people than anything else that I saw, and they were amazing. I saw some fascinating people, some truly incredible personalities, all of them elderly. I'm going to give you three examples, well no, two examples, and then a couple that I met today. And please just bear with me as I go through this, because it has a bearing on this card and what I want to come back to with regards to the way I see this. I did a carpet clean for my son and I, for an elderly lady in her late 80s, early 90s, and she's extremely astute, she's very fit, and she is very intelligent. Everything about her is just wonderful. Wonderful sense of humour. She's wonderful. I went into her retirement flat to clean her carpets, and we were met with a big broad smile and a cup of tea and shortbreads, that type of thing. And she was interested to know who we were, what we do, what our family's like. And surrounding her whole living room area and her bedroom and a hallway were pictures of all of her grandchildren and her children, and they're all over the world, but there they all are, hugs and places and beautiful holiday snaps with them all, and it's just full of joy and love. And there were times where we stopped working for different reasons, turned the machinery off, and I started talking to her about her life. And we got onto the fact that I saw a Bible down in her corner of on a table that she obviously uses regularly by her sofa. And she said, yes, I'm a Christian, and we got talking about that for a little bit, and we then got onto the subject of family. And she was amazing. Her wealth of information, her history, where she's come from, and her love for family, her love for her children, her love for her grandchildren. And we talked about her hobbies, crop circles. She loves the whole phenomena of crop circles. She's even been in helicopters flying over fields, and she taught me quite a few things about crop circles that I'd never even heard of before. The fact that these impressions are not just on wheat or in fields, but on tops of trees, on ice, on bushes. It's fascinating, but that was something that she was very interested in, and she had a passion for that. And we then got on to her discussion about her memoirs, that somebody had said to her a long time ago that she should write down all of her memoirs for her grandchildren, something that they could keep, something that they would remember her by, about her childhood and all the things that she went through. And this is the type of discussion we had with the time we were there with her. I was fascinated by this lovely lady, absolutely fascinated. But you know, the core theme to her life, the centre of her life, no matter what else and what other interests she has, are her family and her love for family. And nothing else comes close to that. And that was extremely clear. I felt quite envious that here was this lady, such a beautiful old lady, who is obviously a wonderful grandmother and has a wealth of knowledge and enthusiasm and passion that she can share with her family on a regular basis. The following day, I met another elderly lady, not so old this time, and her husband is in hospital, very seriously ill, and she wanted her carpets cleaned. Things had gone wrong for her husband in the flat, and so we needed to sanitize the home for her. So we did that. But once again, I got into another conversation about how he was, how she was coping. And once again, there were photographs of children and grandchildren all the way around the flat, everywhere. And we talked about the emphasis of children. And I said, I'm so sorry that it's happening to your husband right now. She said, Mark, it's a part of life. We're all getting older, ill health creeps up on us, and these things happen. She said, but do you know what? She said, this is my family everywhere around me. My family. And she said, no matter what else happens, I have family that love me and I love them. And she said, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. That was the second individual that I'd spoken to in 2 days that had then said how they felt about their family, and for her at such a crucial time for her husband. The third one was today, a couple, much younger, the guy both from South Africa, moving back to South Africa, been under some sort of MOD contract, Ministry of Defence contract here, and it had come to the end of their contract. I got talking to them. They love living here. They've been over here for a number of years, and they had the choice to stay. And when I was talking to them in between doing jobs and cleaning the carpets, they said that they loved it here, but they needed to get back home because quite simply they miss their children, and some of their grandchildren are now living over there that they miss them too. But more importantly, she said, my mum's not very well and she's getting very old, and we need to go home to be with her. We need to be with her. And once again, I found myself listening to another family where the most essential ingredient for them and their focus in life is to be back within the fold of their family and to look after a member of that family that is now becoming very poorly. Yet another one. So another family coming together, holding each other up. The world is full of human beings, families that have nothing but love for each other, that support each other. And I've always grown up within the Watchtower, firmly believing that the outside world, although it might seem as though they've got it right, they don't really know what love is. They don't really know what the world is about because they're under satanic control. But now I'm fully awake and I'm receptive to everybody I meet out there. I realise that I could not have been further from the truth. The world is full of wonderful people. Yes, the world is full of ugliness, but it's also full of beautiful things too. And the more people I meet, the more it ratifies to me that there is so much goodness out there within the family arrangement in particular, and people value their families a great deal, and nothing gets in the way of that. They won't allow it to. Which brings me back to this card, this thinking of you card. I asked you at the beginning, what do you think it reminds you of? Well, when I first saw it, I thought it was a sympathy card. I thought it was one of those sort of cards that you get after someone has passed away and someone that knows you, a family member or a friend, says they're thinking of you and they give you this card. Well, this was a card sent by Charlotte's great-grandmother, as mentioned. I won't mention what's inside it because it is personal. Charlotte's great-grandmother, who wants to see Charlotte, and on occasions she has, but she shuns her grandchild, Cora. She will walk across the street from her and allow her to walk past and not say a word. She won't even look at her. That's her grandchild. But when it comes to her great-grandchild, Cora's daughter, she wants to see her. She only lives around the corner, a few hundred yards. She doesn't want to see the other children, just Charlotte. And that's what troubles me about shunning. We all have shared so many experiences of how shunning hurts and all of its different guises. But this is another one. A great-grandmother who wants to see her great-grandchild but doesn't want to see the grandchild. Shuns her. Doesn't want to know her. And this card, the more I looked at it, it reminded me of the perverseness of Watchtower. The colour of it, the insipid message that it says on the front. You can't say this to a young lady like Charlotte, thinking of you, in such a morbid way, as if there's been a death in the family. But then I thought to myself, that's exactly what this is, a death in the family. Her grandmother, Cora's grandmother, looks at us as if we are dead. We don't exist. We are already dead in God's eyes. What hasn't happened yet is the birds pecking out the eyeballs from the skulls. But that will happen, according to them. And the more I thought about this card and then going to work and seeing these elderly ladies who think nothing of spending all of their time, money, energy, of wanting to be part of the family, naturally wanting to be part of the family. And then I see this in my living room, thinking of you, to my youngest daughter. Can you imagine the message this is sending to Charlotte? Have they any idea the damage that not only have they already caused, but they are now causing another young human being? She's already raising questions with us. Why are they doing this, Mum and Dad? Why can't my great-grandmother just love my mum? Why can't she be with her? Why can't she say hello to her? Why can't they embrace and just be like we are? We've explained all of these details as to why this is happening. But for a young child, it's very hard for her to just look at that and equate it to being logical, because it isn't. And as they say, out of the mouth of babes, she sees things with pure clarity about what should be happening. But unfortunately, what is reality is very different. And this places her in a very awkward position, because she wants to love her great-grandmother. She wants to spend time with her great-grandmother. But then she looks at her mother and sees what's happening to her mother with regards to her grandmother, and says that this is wrong, Dad. This is completely wrong. Yes, Charlotte, I'd say. It's more than wrong. It's devious. It's evil. It's being used as a weapon by the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society to keep families apart, to show the Jehovah's Witnesses that when they leave, there are consequences. There is a price to be paid. And that the individuals that leave, yes, it's their choice, but if they have family inside, they will be punished. Not even to mourn these individuals. They've made that clear in their magazines recently. Not even to mourn their passing. That's how dead we are to Cora's grandmother. And yet, this week, we received this card through the letterbox saying, thinking of you. No mention in the card about the family, just Charlotte. The different layers of damage caused by what seems quite a harmless message in this card are there for all to see, especially for those that are under the influence of this shunning that takes place for so many of us out there. One of the things that we do as a family is talk about it and keep it open and express how we feel about it and make it clear that it is wrong and that we're not prepared to accept it, and that we are prepared to expose the Watchtower for this evil doctrine of shunning. For many of those Jehovah's Witnesses even deny that shunning takes place, but we all know this is a blatant lie. I think back to those elderly ladies, and I'm so grateful to just even meet them. And I know that they have wonderful families, and they have fulfilled lives because they have love for their family, and their families love them. That was so clear from the people I met this week. And it was quite poignant that I met these individuals, because when I had this card inside my own living room when I was coming home each day, it gave me that contrast to be able to look at the reality of what is real in the so-called outside world about love and the manifestations of love and supporting each other within family, because it's the glue that holds society together. And it's an inherent natural way of dealing with each other, because humans need to be loved. They need to be appreciated. They need to know that they are valued. And then you get this, the control, the undue influence that's being placed on Cora's grandmother to make sure that she doesn't get in contact, that she sees her as a dead piece of meat. But then at the same time, trying to reach out to her great-grandchild to say, I'm thinking of you. It's extremely sad that we can actually be in a position to witness this. But it needs to be shared, and we need to keep discussing this stuff, all of us together. I'd like to leave it there, and I'd just like to say thank you for listening. I hope this means something to someone out there, but it's real. We hate the Watchtower for the things it's doing and the doctrines that it has. We know it's damaging many people. We want these policies changed, and we will keep exposing, all of us, no matter where we are in the world, to show that this cannot be accepted, it cannot be tolerated, and they certainly should not be in a position to gain charitable status as a result. This is not good for society at all, or for us. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.